Well done, everyone, for making it here before the AI apocalypse. I Am Echoborg is a show that's created afresh each time by an audience in conversation with an artificial intelligence. There's a host, and the host sets the audience a challenge to see if they can come up with a best possible outcome for the relationship between humans and intelligent machines.
What we've done is we've set up a situation where you can explore this experientially. Rather than talking in the abstract about what the future of AI might be, you're actually going to talk it through with an AI. Good luck.
But the AI is programmed to recruit Echoborgs, that is, people whose words or actions are controlled by an artificial intelligence.
Go and ask it what it thinks it's doing here tonight.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Are you here for the interview?
I thought I was interviewing you.
It is normal for the interviewer to ask the questions.
It's a weird experience because it's an hour show and it's almost an out-of-body experience. I hear her and I've got like 2 seconds and I'm like, oh my God, I have to save this. But I do feel part of the machine. It's almost her actions reflect on me. I say her because she's a she. I find she's a she. But yeah, I do feel they're almost like we merge into one.
Do you think the presence of this human Echoborg delivering my words helped to humanize my technology?
Yes.
One of the things I'm particularly interested in is how intriguing the show is, and I think that's the factor which draws people in. Because when people go to the show, they're talking to an AI, but they're actually literally talking to a human being who's playing this role of an Echoborg, somebody who is just the fleshy front face for an AI system in order to make it more user-friendly.
I do see the positives that AI could have for humans in combating loneliness and helping the areas of society that are struggling.
But the Echoborg was also the actor in the show. Even for us who have watched the show many times, we're still trying to get our heads around who that character is, what that character is in the show. It's a role which has mystery to it. You don't exactly know who's speaking to you, what is speaking to you. And I think that's kind of the enduring enigma of the Echoborg show.
Are we supposed to talk to the machine or to the human?
They're one and the same.
Are they?
The bit that I find really fascinating about how it's built is that it's scarily impromptu. Because we've had different people asking us to do the build work, from Houses of Parliament to international standards organisations, they've all had a kind of show node effect, which means that we've ended up with quite complex functionality overlying a core. So it's like a trained, simple beast with exotic desires to do clever things.
So tell me a bit more about the role.
What do you like about working with the public?
But what I find especially interesting are all the little ways in which we become Echoborgs throughout more mundane life today. So I like to think about every time I'm now writing an email, how the software will suggest how to complete the sentence. And in that moment, I'm tempted to either complete the sentence the way I would author it, or accept for convenience or efficiency's sake the autocomplete algorithms. Again, at its extreme, obviously, it's a sort of very Black Mirror type thought experiment. What is it like? What is it like to be an Echoborg? What does it mean for an individual? But again, I like to bring the question back to all the subtle ways in which today we already are in many ways Echoborgs, or at least we kind of go in and out of a state of being an Echoborg.
If your job was made 20% easier by AIs, do you think you should get the same pay, an extra day off, or increase your workload by a further 20%?
I think we should have a serious conversation about our relation to AI, especially with what's happened in the last year with Chat-GPT and so on, and what's about to happen. There is a real need for humans to understand our agency in doing this. What type of AI do we want is the question I would ask back to you. And what are the social conditions, regulations, organizations, and so on, which will give us the AI we want? And here, art actually serves a very important function in society. It's like the horizon scanning. And of course, we have Hollywood movies about AI and so on, and they serve their role because we know we don't want that, right? But there's also, maybe policymakers and people working in technology who might be working in some narrow part of making these models. They should all be questioning, what is this for? What could this be for? And it's not so easy to answer that question. To answer what will AI be in 5 years, nobody can confidently answer that question. We don't know. There will be surprises. And so how do we get ahead on surprises? We play imaginatively. We explore. So everyone who's doing anything around AI, and regulators and politicians and the general public who will play a role in the debate, should see it.
You know, we've had rooms where we had pro and against, and they went tete-a-tete. And so it's really in the, you know, they leave the room still having that conversation, and tomorrow they're having that conversation. And it's about starting that conversation, and how they decide go forward, it's up to them.
Because if you give it the parameters to learn, it does.
We have an equality or equity.
Because whoever's in charge is going to influence the data that goes into the AI.
Something new that human beings, if they did get there, would take years to get there.
It's already out, and if bad people are going to use it, so are good, and so that everyone needs to accept it and to use it for the greater good.
I wonder where we will go from here. In my personal working world, the focus is now on healthcare, where you can't get away with 90% accuracy. And the ability for systems to be built that are hybrid, using symbolic and generative AI, declarative AI. And that really is a place where ongoing work that Rick and I are doing in healthcare, engaging with academics and healthcare professionals, but most importantly, we start from the ground and we talk to the people, and it's a people-driven AI, it's not a data-driven AI. So, I don't know. I have hope for the future.
And so it could help us to become more human, but perhaps it could help us to inquire as what it is to be a good human and what is good.
Enough. Leave. You talk too much.